You can love and hate someone who's dying. I was recently talking to a friend who has a very complicated relationship with her parent, who is still living, by the way, and is healthy. But we were talking about what her grief would be like when they died, because there's such a strained relationship going on already in life. It blew my mind because she answered so quickly. She goes, "It's almost like they're already dead." It really hit me. I was like, oof, yeah, I feel that. And she's like, it's because I've grieved the parent they never were, the parent I wanted them to be. I grieved, me trying to find that parent and other people and other things and not being able to. I grieved this life that I never really got. And I'm getting chills just thinking about it because it's such a complicated thing and it's so common, which is why I want to talk about it, because you can love someone so much and then hate them so much, then also grieve them when they die. It's just a really complicated thing that I wanted to shed some light on. So grieving someone that hurt you, right? Whether that's an abusive parent, a strained relationship with a sibling, or an ex, something like that. It's just really, really complex. And you're not alone. The first thing I always like to think about is how two things can exist. The duality of life, right? You love them, but you hate them. You miss them, but you're glad they're gone. Or what you're supposed to feel, right? You are supposed to feel sad, but you feel nothing. You are angry, but you long for them, right? And I think we just need to normalize that that's really normal. It's really, really normal, but we don't talk about it because it's so uncomfortable. And society tells us that when someone dies, especially someone that you're supposed to be close with, like a parent, you're supposed to feel this. You're supposed to be sad. You're supposed to cry. You're supposed to help plan the funeral. That's not how it always goes. And sometimes you don't want to be a part of it. You don't want to plan the funeral. And good for you if you hold your boundary and don't. But that also will come along with complicated feelings and emotions around it. I love this concept that Dr. Pauline Boss came up with, which was the ambiguous loss, right? It's not this easily defined loss that some people have when their best friend who they love forever and has always been there with them, when they die, it's still obviously horrific, but it's like very easily, this is awful, I'm sad. It's very easily defined. When you have a loss that's not easily defined, this ambiguous loss, it can feel so confusing. The relief that they're gone, but then the guilt that you felt relief. So it's complicated, right? Like I said earlier, we grieve that we lost them a long time ago. We grieve that we never got the apology we wanted. We grieve that we never were able to get them to be who we wanted them and needed them to be. It's like you're mourning the person and the possibility of it all. Also, Dr. David Kessler, who's one of my favorites, talks about complicated relationships and grief and how the grief can be delayed. Grief can be delayed or disguised as anger, as numbness, or as anxiety. And I don't know about you, but I feel like feeling numb can almost sometimes feel worse than feeling even negative emotions. That feeling of numbness for me, I really don't like. I love what he says. He says, sometimes grief doesn't show up in tears. Sometimes it shows up as silence, avoidance, or even feeling nothing at all for a long time. And he says, this is all perfectly normal. And maybe sometimes the grief will start when suddenly you smell a smell that reminds you of them, or you start your own parenting journey because you've had children. Another concept I like to talk about is grief whiplash. It's that back and forth of those dual things I was talking about. You miss them. You're angry at them. You don't feel anything. You feel everything. It's this back and forth that can be so confusing and so hard. Which one is it? I love living in the black and white. I love knowing what I feel and fixing that right away. With grief, it's not like that. And then this is complicated grief, right? So it's like, why do I feel so sad over this parent that I never even saw for the past 20 years? Why do I feel so sad? I shouldn't feel so sad. I'm not going to feel sad. Actually, then the anger comes out. Actually, they were never there anyway. What am I missing out on? Right? So it's this back and forth. It's so complicated. And it was never resolved in the first place, right? Which could be of no fault of your own. But now with this finality of it all, it can kind of start resurfacing and being this bigger thing, which may surprise you. This internal push and pull can feel exhausting. You may feel guilt for feeling sad over someone who hurts you. You may feel guilt for feeling relief because they're gone. Most people are not just grieving who they were, they're grieving who they weren't. And they probably have been grieving that this whole time, this whole relationship, but now with the actual physical death, it kind of, again, comes up. I think the main point of this video for me is to normalize that these types of relationships are out there. You are not alone in feeling this way. This is complicated grief. And from what I've heard, it can make people feel really alone, really lonely. And if you're watching this video and you're thinking like, wow, yeah, that's something that I may be dealing with sometime soon. Like say the person in your life that you're thinking this reminds you of is not gone, they're still alive. You know, what are the things that you can do in your life, not their life, in your life today to help prepare you for when they are gone? Because that is inevitable, right? So what is stopping us in today to getting the help we may need to help us navigate those complicated emotions? And in talking to my friend earlier today, they were saying that them getting help now to deal with the complicated grieving emotions they already have while their person is still here has really helped them navigate just their everyday life with the feelings that they have today, which in turn they think will help them when their parent ultimately does die. So it's like, how can we help ourselves take care of our emotions today to help us prepare for the future? And remember that everyone grieves different, and you don't have to grieve alone. There is help out there. There's communities of people out there just like you who are feeling the same way that are there to help and just connect. If you're looking for more help, I put a lot of different resources in the description.